film sucks. Indie film sucks. It's the Indie Film Sucks podcast. Yeah.
Coming at you from the mean streets of St. Louis, from a basement on South Broadway, the Indie Film Sucks podcast. Because indie film, here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are.
How's it going, fellas?
Oh, man, never better.
It's going good.
3 episodes back, baby.
3 episodes. 55.
Banging them out.
Brainstorm.
Banging them
That's
out,
what
just
we
like in
talk
high
about.
school.
Yada, bang, bang, bang.
Why don't you introduce us?
My name's Mackie. This is Chris Grega. Brock Roberts sitting across from me.
Nice to meet you guys.
Looking good, buddy. Looking good.
Well, looking wonderful.
That's right.
How much have you had to drink tonight?
Not enough. Not
Okay,
enough.
I don't know.
I found another one of those Lion Crew summer shandies in Chris's icebox, so
Oh,
I grabbed
wow, how'd
it.
that get there?
I don't know.
You didn't bring one for me,
I
noticed.
did not. I ran up and got yelled at grabbing this one.
Well, hell.
Yeah, this is the Indie Film Sucks podcast, where we talk about the
Highs, the lows.
Lows.
and the in between about true independent filmmaking. Right. So, hey, if you didn't listen last week, we talked about momentum. So we're going to try to keep the momentum going this week.
Are
and
we?
we are, yeah.
Oh,
We're just trying to practice what we preach here. So, I don't know, Brock, you brought up a word, brainstorm. What do you mean by that?
Just what it says. So I guess what I mean by that is, so when we have our meetings, it's just the three of us idiots trying to figure life out, right?
Got that right.
Yeah,
And sometimes it goes well, and we do figure some things out, you know.
sometimes.
And I think we should just have one of those tonight and let people just, listen to us and see if they go, well, hey, these guys are some idiots.
Right.
But it's entertaining at least. But we did have a little bit of a brainstorm on the way back from Chicago about a month ago now.
Yeah.
And was trying to think of different ways to, get ourselves out there a little bit more. Maybe see if we can get a little bit of traction from people who want to see some fresh stuff. So I brought up the idea of, what if we were to shoot something? Obviously, Chris would write and direct it, and you and I would act in. We'd get a handful of other actors. We'd have crew and everything. Shoot some shorts, maybe even like a web series type of thing. And what if we talked about how we made it, the writing that went behind it, and what it went into making these things. So you guys liked the idea, and I thought maybe we could talk a little bit about that.
I do remember that conversation, and I love our brainstorming sessions. Anybody that's got 3 hours or 4 hours in a car with their partners or anybody like that, take the time to just talk and throw shit out and just have a good time.
I was drinking wild turkey all the way home.
Yeah, no, you weren't.
Honestly, we were listening to baseball most of the time.
Yes, thank goodness. But Brock brought this up, and so my first thought, not in the car, but here tonight when you said it again, and I love the idea, is would we talk about it here on this podcast, or would we talk about it part of the series? Like, would you do it and then talk about it, or would you talk about it as you were going? Or
So no, I was thinking we would talk about our pre-production and production, and obviously post-production, something like this, you don't really need to talk about, right? Because we're not trying to send it anywhere. We're just cutting it, editing it. That's all Greg's job, right? We're going to give him another job. So we would tell the audience, what went into producing this 3-minute or 10-minute, whatever we end up doing.
yeah, sure.
And throughout the podcast, we could even show if they're watching on YouTube, we could show some of that, or you could go to our YouTube channel and actually watch the whole short, and then you could see what it is to make a short, which is the same principles as making a feature.
Just shorter.
Just shorter, right?
How much you had to drink?
But so we do have a web series, The Killer's Resolute.
Right.
It didn't have any budget at all, but it turned out really, really, really good. And we may even show that and talk about what went into that, because I was there for that.
Right.
And But I'd like to make some fresh stuff too. But that's, you know.
So do like a director, actor, like producer, company, like commentary, or do it while you're making it. So do you do it behind the scenes and you cut to Greg and go, hey, why don't you tell everybody why you're doing this shot? Well, it's because of this. You know, I needed this and I got this coverage. We
could do that. I mean, I don't know how we'd cut it in. I mean, I'd like to shoot it and actually talk about it on our podcast. Maybe put it on social media, just a couple short little snippets of what the podcast is. So throughout, like maybe one of our episodes of our podcast, we talk about exactly what I said before. Oh, this episode of whatever the fuck we call it, that Greg writes up. This is us doing this. This is how we shot it. This is what we had to do. And this you could even talk about the camera angles. It's just how we did everything.
So more of a reminisce back, like watching the film and having like a commentary over the top.
We could do that.
Oh, that's what I was just asking on that. I'm brainstorming here.
Yeah, same
trying
here.
to figure out where you're coming from.
Well, here's the thing. We always, and look, I hate even saying this, right? I hate living in this world that we live in.
Of the 3 minutes short.
Yeah, but you always need more content to put out there. You know what I want to do? I want to make feature films. That's what I want to do. But you know what? The vast majority of people don't give a shit about what you want to do. They don't give a shit about your feature film. They want to watch whatever little fucking 2-minute thing on TikTok. That's what they want to do. So what we have to do,
33-minute films.
Yeah, well, exactly. So we have to crank out more content that we can tie in with the podcast so we can do what we actually want to do. What I want to do anyways is make feature films. But I think it's a pretty good idea that we can make short, low cost, low risk, low investment, but high quality projects, and then kind of break down how those are done.
Yeah, so we were running into problems like, okay, because it's hard to do a podcast once a week and come up with fresh shit.
You bet your ass it is.
Listen last week because that one was
this is
planned.
A very niche thing, you know what I mean? This is a very, we're not going to go outside the box of making movies. That's not what we do.
Yeah, no, it's the Indie Film Sucks podcast. We're talking about independent film, and we're talking about independent film at a certain level. So we're not talking about politics. We're not talking about religion. I don't give a shit who you voted for. I don't give a shit about any of that. What we're talking about is independent filmmaking and the highs, the lows, and the in-betweens. And look, a lot of indie film is lows and in-betweens.
Yeah, so I thought, why don't we kill two birds with one stone? Let's make some content. Then we can actually talk about it on the podcast.
Right.
So, and some people may learn, and plus it'd be cool for people to see new, fresh stuff at a kind of regular basis. I don't know if we can put out, we can't put out
semi-regular.
Yeah, but, we're not going to put out a new.
There's a lot of work that goes into 3, 4, 6, whatever minutes.
Yeah, we're not going to do those once a week. That's impossible for us to do.
Right, but once a month, once every 2 months, or whatever it is, it's just something fresh or something. Maybe we can.
We may go do a bunch of them and then talk about them as we go later on this year.
Right.
Well, you brought up The Killers Resolute, which was our 9-episode web series, and each episode was shot. It was a self-contained thing shot in a day, and it was a lot of fun because that's the thing that you also forget about when you're talking about content and growing your audience and all this horse shit. It's actually just fun to be on a set and to make a movie.
Yeah, you're creating shit.
Oh, and to balance it with this.
Yeah.
And the marketing and everything else. So I think this is a great idea, Brock, to help us balance some of that, knowing we're shooting on Saturday and we're going to do this, right? But then we're also going to talk about it, and also has a useful purpose to drive brand message and be entertaining for the audience, right? Maybe somebody's going to, right? That's part of the purpose of this.
And also,
is to teach people.
Getting to know the community even better. And we know a lot of people around here, for sure. But I wouldn't mind working with more often. We've met a few.
Oh, bringing people in for cameos or just and to be on. Yeah, yeah. No, I think that's another aspect of it that you can.
That can only help them
expand.
And kind of taking a page from the 48-hour film project, which the appeal of the 48-hour film project, we've done it a bunch of times, and I'll be honest, I know you've never been a fan of it, and I'm fucking sick of it. I'm not saying I'm never going to do another 48, but I have no desire.
I'm telling you right now, I ain't never doing another 48.
I have no desire to do one. But
I do one.
I know you.
But the appeal of it is after a weekend, you have a completed film. and that is something that is kind of neat.
It is.
So
It
taking a
is.
page from that, it would have to be something that's like short, done in like in a weekend or maybe even a day, and you get people on a volunteer basis, right? It's not about
No, right. Yes.
and that's going to turn some people off. Because some people think anytime I'm on the set, I got to be getting paid top dollar. You know what? Fuck you. When I first started making movies with me and my best friend, we would grab a camcorder and we would just make short films because it was fun.
If they were putting something out that we're trying to get some monetary value out of,
Sure.
I understand.
Yes.
This is different.
Absolutely. But this is different.
No, I think it's a teaching tool for the audience. It's something for us to do to go have fun, hone our skills,
Yeah.
try new techniques,
Yeah.
right? Different aspects of it. But I also think you make it a serial, Brock, where maybe you and I are the main two characters, and then we bring in these other people.
Something like
but it's a
that.
continuance on, so there is an interest, a vested interest for people that are watching it on YouTube to maybe kind of see what happens. And
Yeah.
maybe it challenges you as a writer too, right? How do you write 10 3-minute segments for this, keep it cohesive with one or two main characters, and bringing these other people in as you bring in, like you just said, these guests or these people to
Yeah.
come in, shoot for a day for free, right? And I think that's pretty good.
I mean, it's got to be people who get it and who just
I think
love
there's not
making
people that
movies.
do get that.
There are people who get it.
They get that, and then they come on the podcast and talk about their little segment, or they go on
Yes.
YouTube for us and they talk about their little part of it.
And if nobody wants to do it, screw, we'll do it ourselves.
I mean, and you talk about the experience of doing it, and we can even talk about what it cost for that day, right?
Sure.
And say this was a day shoot. This is what we had for lunch. This is how we did it. It ran over.
Yeah, just be an open book and how, hey, maybe other people do the same shit and create something cool themselves.
Or not even a full day, a half day. You come
No,
in.
whatever it takes to shoot what you need
Yeah.
to shoot, right? Some days are not going to be full. Some are going to run long, depending on what you're doing or how you ride
But
it.
ideally, you write things simple.
Yes.
What can you simply do?
And then
in a
what I
short
would
amount
like
of
to see
time?
is a cohesive kind of 10 episode
Yeah, something like that.
start, 10 episodes end in something where each individual one is experiencing a project, but they're all cohesive as you go along, and just kind of see what that looks like.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's kind of the idea.
All right, well, we settled that.
we did. I even have an idea.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
All right, anything else?
No, I thought that, well, I don't want to go into the business side of the brainstorm that too, because that's pretty ugly sometimes. But the creative side of it's really cool. So I think it'd be fun, again, to work with some local talent and see what they got to bring. Every actor loves being a good character. Gregor writes pretty good characters. So I think it'd be a good exercise for see what the fuck happens.
Right.
It's not going to cost us much. Maybe some food, maybe a location here and there. But if it is a really cool, cohesive, episodic season,
That's
maybe.
Just adding more to the complexity of it just to make it something
Yeah,
at
just
the
see how
end
it
and not
goes,
just doing
because
these
if you-
one-timers, right?
Yeah, and if you guys haven't seen Killers Resolute on our 88mm website, you should go check it out. Actually, maybe we should reboot that to re-show people that or get it back out there for people to see because it is enticing.
You put it on the
story,
YouTube channel.
Good
It
acting.
is on the YouTube
Oh,
channel.
okay. There you go.
But we just don't ever push it because, like you said in a couple episodes ago, or whatever, how we suck at that shit, which we do.
And it's also 10 years old at this point.
It is,
Right.
but the story and the story and the acting and the directing and writing
It was a good idea
it's
when
all-
there wasn't anything like that out there, I think, at the time, right?
Well, there was. I just thought,
Maybe that was the future. Or
no. So the thing was, I had never done a web series, and I wanted Sound of Nothing. I've talked about this before. I wanted Sound of Nothing to be a web series, and I wrote it as a 10-episode web series. It was me and two other writers, and it was, pretty good for a web series. But the original cinematographer, the original editor, they said, we want to do a feature. And they talked me into it, and I rewrote it, and it took me a fucking year to rewrite it because it wasn't easy taking a 10-episode web series and turning it into a feature. And it was a hell of a lot of work. But anyways, after all that, then I had thought, well, I still haven't done what I wanted to do, which was a web series.
Right.
Which is where the Killers Resolute came about.
Did you guys write that to, drive it each week? Or did you shoot it all at once and then divide it up?
No, we didn't shoot it all at once. I mean, we shot it over probably a 6 months period.
Right. So was the purpose for people to tune in next week to see the next one?
we didn't even have a plan, dude.
okay.
But
I mean,
something like that.
It was the main purpose for me was to test out cinematography techniques.
Yeah. And that's a great reason why something like this could work as well,
Yeah.
right? To try different things or not be scared to do anything because it really doesn't matter.
And I would not be opposed to bringing in other directors. Like, hey, if you guys want to do a 3-minute short that'll fit into this paradigm.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But here's the premise, and here's the characters, and here's what you have to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like I said, much like a 48, like, no, we're not going to spend $10,000. No, it's not a money making.
It's got to be a couple $100 each week. I mean,
Right.
if even that.
right. Yeah.
The whole point is just a little bit of creative. And if people are like, well, I need to get paid scale, man, then don't do it, okay?
Well, I think that's the business side of things. I think we could get people to do that, or they're not bought in.
Sure.
Right?
It's not about
we're talking to the wrong people if that's what they're asking us to do.
people out of money.
And I really don't think, with our reputation around here, we won't ever have to worry about that.
Oh, it's
not.
experimental. It's something, you know what I mean? I don't know where it fits in something, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, people put on the resume, and it's even
Meal and reel, baby. It's for meal and reel.
But that's
and
what it
IMDb
is.
credit.
I don't even know that.
Yeah.
I'm not promising that.
Well, you can actually that is something you can promise. You just can't promise them they're going to get paid.
No. It's
Just
definitely
upfront,
bought into the spirit of what you're trying to do, and it's not like they have to commit every week because they don't.
No.
The only 3 people that commit every week is us. Right?
Yeah.
That's the 3-legged stool, and then everybody else comes and goes as they fly in and fly out.
Yep.
So that's what's cool about it, is who's going to be on next week, have them come on and talk about it. I think that's the cool idea, how you build on this, Brock, from a small idea to say, how useful can this be to bring in extra talent, to bring in these things, to use it for the podcast, to use
Well,
it.
you look at it this way from a business side. You get more people involved in a project you're doing, you're going to expand. You're going to expand your circle.
Yeah.
Okay, so we bring more people in. They're telling people to watch this because they want people to see them performing, and that's how it should be.
Well, I've got a couple ideas for it. So.
Oh, well, there you go. No, this is a good one.
I hope it's not in a trailer because we can't find a fucking trailer.
No trailers.
Not in the trailer.
No trailers. We have to go with what we have. Doesn't matter. It has to be in our genre too, in my opinion. That's my opinion.
All right, so that's brainstorm session 1 in front of everybody.
Yeah, well, we already kind of knew what we were talking about there, so
Yeah.
it wasn't like
okay. Yay.
Any other brainstorming ideas?
Nope.
Let's go drink some whiskey and talk some more about other shit.
All right, that's a short one, but okay, we're good.
Well, hey, it's
Short and sweet.
3. So, again, what did we learn tonight?
Well, we listened to Brock brought an idea up in the car, and
Yes.
we rehashed it tonight on air.
Yes.
That's pretty. But we expanded on it a little
We
bit.
did.
But we really didn't talk about it too much.
As you know,
Just enough.
This is a brainstorm thing. We came up with an idea. We talked about it, and we can talk about
Stay
it.
tuned.
And again, highs, lows, in betweens, true independent filmmaking.
Yep.
Blah, blah, blah.
Hey, we love you guys. Though.
If you don't
Thanks-
listen to
thanks
this
for
one and it's short, then you're never listening to any of the longer ones.
Exactly. Kiss my ass.
All right.
No,
All right.
Good
Peace
night.
out.
Love
Peace
you
out.
all.
Yep.
Kiss his ass.
Tell somebody you love this one.
Indie film sucks. Indie film sucks. It's the Indie Film Sucks